Okay, welcome everyone. Second video here. Something I want to talk about a little more personal. I had a friend who had someone really close to him die, and I've been living with him for a while, but I've only very rarely knew about this man. Now, I'm not going to say his name or my friend's name because I'm doing this because it's just I think it'd be nice to just get a little reflection on everything in a whole that's happened. Even though this like his what the circumstances that reminded me to make this video have come up. So I want to tell you a little bit about my life. When it comes to my life, it's not really that great, but I wouldn't really consider it that bad. So I am technically what you would call an orphan. I both of my parents are dead. Well, let me clarify. One of them is dead. The other one, I do not know who they are. Though I thought for the longest time that the person that was my father was dead for the longest time. But so I think I'm gonna start off the story with I used to live in South Carolina in a trailer park. I believe my mother and the person who I thought was my dad for the longest time must have had a falling out or something, and she went to live there and did construction. I believe she was a welder, and my real dad, who I don't know why he wasn't there, but my fake dad at the time went to Mexico. He was a Mexican, and he came back one night. Now imagine they had a discussion. It was about two some days after my birthday, I believe, or somewhere around there, and that was when he decided to shoot my mom and then shoot himself. And the only thing I really remember of that night is just waking up in her arms. Um, so I do have a lot of experience about death, not only with that, but I've also had just a couple of near life, near death experiences myself. Um, the first time would have to be when I'm a lot younger. This one does involve my mom. She was at the laundromat there in South Carolina, and me being the brilliant baby I was, decided to sneak outside the front door when someone came in, to get their unmentionables washing. Anyway, so there I am, little old me, walking out, go out to the middle of the street. Of course, busy street, car comes coming by. Now, instead of being one of the instances where the car barely misses me or something like that, no. Somebody actually came out of nowhere. This is what I was told. Picked me up, dropped me off on the other side, and just kept going. I don't know how much is true, but I figured I'd mention it anyway. The second time I almost died was when my grandmother took me to a beach. This is after the whole incident with my parents and everything's happened. Help give you some perspective. So, here once again, stupid me, probably around 6, I believe, walking out onto the beach, just like, yeah, fucking having fun and everything. And I start getting a little deeper. It's like, yay, hey, it's getting a little deeper. It's getting like up to my neck. And then I keep walking out. Remind you, I'm walking, not swimming. Keep walking out. It's coming up, and I have to jump to catch breath. It's like, well, this sucks. This definitely sucks. And I remember struggling to find a way to catch my breath. And then finally, someone came out to the water, grabbed me, pulled me up to shore, and thinking back on it, I remind myself how fucking stupid I was for even almost doing that, knowing that I was getting out too deep and I probably should be getting back to shore. Um, uh, there was also a third instance that I remember. The person who I thought was my dad, now looking back on it, actually had laid me down in a bathtub full of water. And he looked at me in the eyes and said, I want you to drown yourself. And I sat there. This is one of the brilliant parts of me, and I just looked at it. I was like, okay. So I put my head down, and I'm sitting there, and just like, this is gonna take a while. And then right when I was running out of breath, I come back up, just like, I can't do that. He looked all pissy and then ran off, and I was just sitting there, just like, so he doesn't want. Thinking back, I was like, so he doesn't want to kill me personally, but he wanted me to do it myself. So I guess there could have been something, if I would have told my mom, could have helped a lot of instances. But pretty much thinking on that, my concept of death is really, really weird at this point. When my grandmother died of cancer later on, like, was really the last death that honestly affected me. Like, I cried like a bitch when my grandmother died. So, thinking on that, my whole concept of death is just kind of weird by this point. Like, I'm more accepting of death in its entirety. I don't know if it's just I've become numb to it over the years, or it's just after you've seen it for so long, you just, I don't know, you just stop caring about these things a little bit. But sometimes in the end, you just have to accept something that is, in most circumstances, out of your control. And even though some things are out of your control, it's perfectly fine to deal with that, because even though there's some things that are out of your control, there's still a lot of things that are in your control. So I don't think anyone should really ever forget about that, because it doesn't really matter what happens in your life or what deaths seem to affect you. And I guess because this could also go to my friend too, but you just got to think of just this natural progression of life and death, that even though when death comes knocking, sometimes it will open up another door that you didn't realize was there before. So if any of you are experiencing a death or having trouble with something of that nature, just remember that even though something like that may happen, things do get better over time. Eventually, it will take a while. Anyway, I hope this somewhat helps someone out there, and you guys have yourselves a good day.